Welcome to Keeping It 100 Coalition Conversations, the official podcast for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Metropolitan Baton Rouge chapter. I'm your host, Shanice Lewis, and in today's episode is very special because we're shining a spotlight on our phenomenal 2025 honorees for the Royal Experience, our signature celebration honoring extraordinary women who are making waves in health, education, economic empowerment, and public policy. The Royal Experience is happening Saturday, May 31st at the beautiful LaBerge Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. And tonight, you'll get an exclusive preview of the brilliance we'll be celebrating. Join us tonight are three powerhouse leaders, Dr. Nicole Thomas, Dr. Sandra C. Brown, and Lakeisha Robichaux. These women are not just accomplished, they are inspirational change makers, blazing new paths and leaving a legacy of impact. And tonight we'll learn more about them, and you'll see why we selected them to be honored at the Royal Experience. So up first, we have Dr. Nicole Thomas. She's going to be honored in the area of health. She is the Director of Operations at the Love Impact Coalition and co-founder of the Nurse Power Network. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I'm excited to talk to you because you have a very impressive resume and you got a lot of stuff going on. So your journey in healthcare was deeply personal and inspired by superb experience as a child. So can you share how those early encounters shape your passion and purpose in nursing and healthcare leadership?
So, just really briefly about my background and how I got to where I am now and what drives my passion. Grew up right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, aka Glen Oaks, Louisiana, as we call it for all my people from Glen Oaks. And so growing up, just needing to be a recipient of healthcare. Either we didn't have insurance or we were on Medicaid, which was close to not having insurance, right? So that was one element of it. The other element of that was growing up, my dad was extremely, extremely ill, ended up having a heart transplant. I remember when I was in elementary school, you could only imagine the insurance that's needed for a major surgery of that sort. And he didn't have, private insurance. He did have Medicaid, and it was so many just hoops and things like that he had to go through in order to get access to the essential health care that he needed, which eventually he did get his heart transplant and things of that nature. But just really and truly being young, navigating that particular healthcare system, not getting access to the healthcare that we needed, that I needed, that my parents needed, really drove me to say, what can I do, right? And so went to Glen Oaks High School. While at Glen Oaks High School, they started the Medical Magnet Program, which was giving us an opportunity to be able to just learn more about the healthcare field. I chose the nursing track. I became a candy striper at the Earl K. Long during that time when I was at Glen Oaks High School. And that's when I was like, I think I can do this. Like, I really think I want to be a nurse. But being able to really and truly see the vulnerable population there and the amazing work that the nurses at Earl K. Long at that time were doing to really and truly help those vulnerable population, to help that vulnerable population, let me know that it was something that I wanted to do. And so the rest is history. Enrolled in the Southern University to get my initial Bachelor of Science in nursing degree. And I've been working and doing the work ever since.
So Impact Nurse Consulting has been transferring healthcare systems globally since 2015. What inspired you to start your own firm, and how do you approach driving high quality outcomes for patients through your consulting work?
Yeah, so Impact Nurse Consulting was born out of me working for an MCO at the time, and I was the associate director very first in my age bracket and my race at that time serving. But my ultimate goal every single year when we would go to what we call QBR, quarterly business review, I had to show how me and my team were able to ultimately save $3.2 million in revenue, right? We had to show how we were able to save that in healthcare spending. And so I was like, okay, well, the only way we're going to be able to do this is if we can start to build healthcare programming specifically within vulnerable populations where they don't have access to healthcare. So I was like, okay, cool, bet. They want to save their money. I want to build infrastructure within vulnerable populations. Let's play ball. And so from there, I really started to learn the navigation of building infrastructure surrounding different programming to address healthcare disparities, healthcare access, things of that nature that continue to grow and expand beyond me working for that organization at the time. And so BAM 2015, Impact Nurse Consulting was born from that and is an international consulting firm. And we've been staying on the mission of building healthcare infrastructure that impacts quality healthcare ever since then.
Now, you've had leadership roles in Fortune 500 and Fortune 7 companies, including Louisiana's Medicaid transition.
Mm-hmm.
So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced, and how did you lead your team to achieve such impressive results like 87% increase in health outcomes?
Yeah. So we faced a lot of challenges. Let's just call it what it is, right? I would say probably one of the biggest challenges in that was changing of the infrastructure. And not only changing of the infrastructure, really and truly building an infrastructure that did not exist, not having a blueprint on how to do that, right? But being told that this is what needs to happen. This is the ultimate goal. And so that was a huge challenge to be able to lead that team. One thing that I always believe in, and I still do this to this day with any team that I have the privilege to be able to lead, is I always take them on the journey with me. And when I say take them on the journey with me, that means explaining to them the why behind why we're doing something, right? So not just giving individuals a task to go and doing a task list, and this is your job responsibility and your job description, so on and so forth. Really and truly making sure that they understand the why behind why we're doing what we're doing, right? Because when you do that, I find that you get more buy-in into the mission. And if you can get people mission aligned, the rest is history. If they believe in the mission, they're going to ride with you through the thick and thin, the up and down, the sun, the rain, every single thing. And so that's something that's been important to me in leading other individuals. We have to become mission aligned, because even when we don't agree, we can say, but what's the mission? And
Right.
we can come together on that to keep doing the work.
And you have a best-selling book that kind of goes with that theme, In Health on Purpose. So this speaks to finding true calling in healthcare. What advice do you have for healthcare professionals, especially women, who are struggling to align their work with their purpose?
What advice do I have for them? I think the biggest thing right now that I've learned through all of this is to stay in your lane and stay with what your intentionality and your purpose is, right? Don't look to the left, don't look to the right, don't look at what Mary doing, don't look at what Sarah doing, don't look at what anyone else is doing. Focus on your own path. Because that's what's going to keep you on the mission. There's so many different distractions happening. Sometimes things that are not distractions. It's just not your journey, right? It's not meant to be your journey. And it's easy to get caught up in other people's journey. I'm going to support you on your journey. I'm going to motivate you on your journey. I can even learn from your journey, but I still have my own journey. So I would definitely say to people, just stay on your journey. And then also, if nothing else, build relationships, have those relationships that are reciprocal, where you're pouring into people and they're pouring into you, and nurture those relationships. Relationships will get you in places that the alphabet soup behind your name will not. So definitely build them, but you got to nurture them, right? You have to nurture those relationships.
Yes, I agree. And so you have a lot going on, and you have some events coming up that you are promoting. Now, let me get the flyer for the first event. The first event is the Love Impact Coalition Free Clinic. Now, this is happening May 31st. This is the same day as the Raw Experience. Now, this is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, how are you going to get from the Raising Cane Center, change clothes, and get to the La Verge? You're going to leave early, or you're going to be late?
I'm gonna have some Red Bull, put some wings on, whatever has to happen. I'm gonna make it all happen, right? But yes, we will be at the Raising Cane's River Center on May 31st, starting at 7 o'clock a.m. And listen, when we say starting at 7 o'clock a.m., that means we have patients in seats receiving services at 7 o'clock a.m. So we actually start bringing patients in at about 6:30 in the morning. We provide absolutely free medical, dental, and vision services on the dental side, cleanings, extractions, fillings, vision sides, on the vision side, eye exam, prescription eye glasses. We have a pharmacy on site if you're prescribed any medications, during your visit there with us. So this is really a truly, again, goes back to my entire purpose here is closing that gap to access to healthcare, providing individuals with quality access to healthcare. So that's what this is all about. It is free. When we say free, 100% free, this is not one of those things where it's free, so there has to be a catch to it or how the service is going to be. We have actual licensed dentists, dental hygienists, optometrists, obstetricians, nurses that will be there providing these services. So there's no registration, no income. We do not ask for, there's no appointment. It's first come, first serve. This is all about serving the community. It really, really is.
So how often do you have these free clinics?
So we started off having these once a year. Last year we did 6 in 1 year. So it just really and truly depends on the sources of funding that we have, because again, while this is 100% free to every patient that comes through the door, there is a cost to put on, a free clinic of this nature. So it really depends on our funding. We always strive, though, to have at least one a quarter. So we're going to kick off in May. We're then going to go to August of 2025. The next one will be in September. And then we're going to close out the year in November 2025 with our final free clinic.
And this was just your vision that you just started doing for the Baton Rouge area?
Well, it was not my vision. This was actually the vision of former Councilwoman Donna Collins Lewis, who went to Boise, Idaho in 2018, saw the work similar to this that they were doing. She came back and she said, I want to do this, but I'm not medical. I don't know how to do this. So she reached out to me and asked me to join her along that journey. And I joined her in 2018, have not left her side since then. And we have been building this since 2018 and serving the people since 2018.
And so this is our health committee saying, please send this flyer to our health committee. So I'll do that. But do you need volunteers? How can
Yes, we're always looking for volunteers. So we do look for volunteers that can consist of nurses, that can be nurse practitioners, that can be LPNs, RNs, that can be medical assistants, CNA. We also look for non-clinical individuals to help in patient registration, to help in hospitality. We do feed our volunteers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So depending on how long you're there with us, we do take very good care of you. So we're always looking for volunteers to come in both on the clinical and the non-clinical side. You can go to our website. Our website is loveimpactcoalition.org. Again, that's loveimpactcoalition.org, and you can sign up there to actually volunteer with us.
And somebody's saying I volunteered at one of the events before, and it's a great experience. That's our sister Tramika. So this is not the only event you have, though.
Yes.
There's another one you have coming up. Let me pull that flyer up. This one is coming up in July during the Essence Fest weekend. Now, this is the 9th annual Nurse Power Brunch happening July 5th. Now, tell us more about this.
Yes, so the Nurse Power Brunch is an extension of the Nurse Power Network, which is a online event platform and an offline event curation platform. We're really and truly here to help our fellow nurses, and we say nurses, but we allow other people other than nurses, so y'all can come too. But it's really and truly a place and space for us to come and learn what it is that we need to operate, to find our power, to operate in our power, and then dominate in our nurse power, right? So this year, our theme is so befitting for the times that we're in. This year's theme is prayer, politics, and power, right? So we really and truly need to understand, as nurses for so long, we withdraw from the policies and politics of nursing and of healthcare, because we're just like, I just want to take care of my patients and provide good patient care. But this is not that time now, right? More than ever, we have to start learning the politics and the policies surrounding healthcare so that we can start to impact and influence the policy and the politics surrounding healthcare so that we can really dominate in that. I have a huge problem with policies made in terms of how nursing and how healthcare is going to be run, and not one nurse is at the table. We have to change that. And so that's what this year's theme is all about. So definitely inviting all of our healthcare friends, all of our nursing friends to come and join us during Essence Festival weekend so that we can get the knowledge that we need so we can continue to dominate in our power as nurses.
And I saw on the website you were looking for nominations for nurses to
Yes.
honor. Is that still open?
That is still open. The last day to nominate a nurse is on May 31st. Look like May 31st is just the date, right? For everything. So May 31st at midnight. So if you know any nurse that is deserving, it does not matter what level of nursing, it can be LPN, RN, NP, that is out here just doing the work, right? That's out here trying to make a difference. Please nominate them. Go to our website at www.nursepowerbrunch.com. You can find the nomination form there. Nominate them. Let's recognize them for the work that they're doing. We know they're not doing this work for the recognition, but they deserve the recognition for the work that they're doing.
Well, we have lots of nurses in our chapter, so we're definitely going to send you some nominations, people worthy to honor. But as we talked about everything you have going on, everyone can see why we are honoring you in the field of health, because you are definitely worthy of being honored, and you have a lot of stuff going on. So I hope you're not worn out by the time you get to the Royal Experience.
I drink a Red Bull. It'll give me wings.
Well, it's been my pleasure speaking with you. And before you leave, what message do you hope your journey sends to other women striving for excellence in healthcare?
I hope that my message lets women know that you're going to have trials, you're going to have tribulations, but as long as you have grit and you wake up every day and give yourself that pep talk that you need to say, just one more day, just one more foot in front of the other, just know that it's all going to work out. So just keep pushing. Life is going to life on us. It is what it is, but we can also do what it is that we need to do, which is just keep showing up for ourselves. So that's my message.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I look forward to seeing you at the Royal Experience.
Nice meeting you too. Can't wait to see you.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And so up next, we have Lakeisha Robichaux. And am I pronouncing your last name correctly? You're muted.
Robichaux.
And she is who we are going to be honoring in economic empowerment. She is the CEO and founder of Chief of Minds, a strategic HR leader helping organizations grow and thrive. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you've had an impressive journey from corporate America to launching Chief of Minds and multiple other ventures. What inspired you to take the leap into entrepreneurship, and how did your corporate experience shape your leadership style?
So what started my journey into entrepreneurship? Thank you, Tiffany. What started that, honestly, as a little child, I was always business driven, always into entrepreneurship. As a little girl, I started businesses where I would do yard work for our neighbors, for our family, because I always wanted to be able to make money. I've seen all my parents work, aunties, uncles, things like that. And I come from a family actually that had entrepreneurship, small business ownership. A lot of my uncles, great uncles, grandparents, they own businesses. And I loved what that freedom, that flexibility looked like, was always driven by it. And so I was the person that was in middle school and high school that was selling the candy out of their book sack. to make money. Got in trouble. Always got in trouble for doing it because I was messing up the concession stand sales, but I loved it. And so from there, even in college, in my dorm room, I had a boutique that I had, White's Fashions, and it just grew from there. And it always it stuck with me, the entrepreneurship, because I like to be able to also, invest in other people as well too with entrepreneurship. So it's something that I think that's deeply rooted in me, from a family perspective, and being able to have that freedom and flexibility, and then being able to reinvest into others. The second part of what was the second part of your question? You asked about corporate.
Yeah, how did your corporate experience shape your leadership style?
Yeah, so corporate experience shaped my leadership style, especially from being in corporate America, and working in leadership roles in corporate America. It really gave me a good view of what good leadership is, how to really engage teams, how to be able to develop them. And then also, I always said, being in corporate America, especially as a mother, as a woman, oftentimes we're not given opportunities. We have to work just as hard. And especially from a mother perspective, trying to take off, I saw many of people that could not, they had to always prioritize work instead of being able to be there from their families. And so when I started my business coming from corporate, I said, I didn't want women to have to do that. If they had a play, if their child was sick, if they had a parent that was ill, I wanted to afford them that opportunity to be there, because that matters. And we shouldn't have to really choose from that. And so corporate having that corporate experience, I was able to observe and get those different views and experiences, and to be able to be a servant leader. And oftentimes you'll see that and when I talk, being that servant leader, it's really giving back and being able to support others, and how can I serve them, and the results follow from there.
Now, you are known for helping organizations build high-performing teams. So what do you believe are the key ingredients for creating and sustaining a strong organizational culture?
So having a strong organizational culture, it really starts with one, the foundation is one, the people that you have. Having that sustainability, and establishing that culture. What does your people look like? And that has to be driven from the values, the beliefs, the mission, the vision of the organization. Getting buy-in from your team to be able to do that. And this is how you work every day. It's how you talk to each other. You're communicating. It's the results that you give. It's the accountability in there. And then in addition to all of that, when you have the people foundation in there, then what does the systems that you have in place? What are the processes that you have in place in order to sustain that organizational culture? And it's really listening to your people, because if you don't listen to the people, you can't grow a business just by yourself. It cannot be you. And honestly, even with AI helps, but you have to have, from the cultural standpoint, human emotions. And so getting the feedback from them as you start your plan. You can do a strategic plan, but the strategic plan shouldn't be just about you and what you want and what you desire. You have to listen to your people. You have to listen to your customers, your clients, getting the feedback externally from them as well. And so assessing all of that is how you'll get the information and everything that you need to really establish and move that culture.
And that applies to nonprofits too, because you work with nonprofit organizations as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That applies to nonprofits, that applies to private, even the government sector as well. Because every organization, regardless of how you are structured, you have a culture that you set, and then a culture that your team believes in. And so that goes beyond.
So as someone passionate about servant leadership, how do you drive business results while putting people first, especially in high-stake environments?
So that's a great question. As far as driving results with putting people first, and this goes back to what I was saying about getting that buy-in. When people believe in what you do and they understand what you do and how you give results, it's not hard to drive the results, because you have a system in place, you have processes that you put in place, and they understand where you're going. Now, going back to before you even have the conversation with that particular client or your customers, making sure that they understand what these deliverables are, having those meetings with them to say, okay, here, this is the results the deliverables that we're going to give to you. These are the results that we're putting forth, and tracking that. So you can make sure that from a progress standpoint that you're meeting the deliverables and results that you're supposed to give them. That's how you can ultimately get the buy-in, and you can get what you deliver, what you say that you were going to do.
Mm-hmm. And so through your Biz Chiefs platform, am I saying that correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You mentor the next generation of small business owners. What are some of the most common mistakes you see entrepreneurs make, and how can they overcome them?
So some of the most common business mistakes business owners make, one is probably one, not worrying about getting started. They want everything to be perfect. And so trying to be perfect, I'm trying to wait till I get this. I'm trying to wait now. Just start, because you're going to make mistakes, and mistakes are oftentimes the best way that you can learn. And so they get stagnant and start thinking about the shoulda, couldas, and all of that, what ifs, instead of just doing the work. The second piece on that, sometimes common mistakes that they make is also moving a little bit too fast when we look at the growth, not really having everything in place that they need in order to make those changes. And what I mean by that is delivering and promising things that you know that you are not set up to do. A lot of times people say, okay, just say yes. And that's fine if you know that you can deliver that, but make sure that you can give the results that you say that.
Uh-oh, did we freeze? Lakeisha, you still there? Y'all hear me? Somebody comment if you can still hear me. Okay, so we're having a technical difficulty. Let's see if she can maybe log out and log back on. Okay, y'all can hear me. So while we waiting to see if she could reboot, I just want to remind you all that the Raw Experience is happening May 31st at LaBerge. Tickets are currently on sale. And tonight is just a preview of some of our honorees, but we have 5 women in total that we are honoring. And I don't know if you've seen this, but we have billboards over Baton Rouge honoring and promoting this with the honorees. Okay, I see Lakeisha back. Let me get her back on the stage. Hey, you're back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties. So where was I?
You were saying don't say yes to something you can't promise.
Yes. So making promises that you know that you can't deliver on. And oftentimes I see business owners make those mistakes because they're hungry. They want the business. They want the revenue. And at the end of the day, that's good, but you have to be able to produce what you're saying that you're going to, because if not, you're risking your reputation. And it's hard sometimes to pick up that reputation once people hear that, oh, they said they were going to do this, but they didn't deliver. They didn't know how. So you want to make sure that if you don't, you position yourself. And it doesn't mean that you know how to do it. You can also subcontract with somebody, because right now in today's age and where we are at in the economy right now, you have to be able to diversify yourself. You may need to team with others, partnerships, bring them on. So if it's something that you're going after, and let's just say you want to present something and they're asking for other services, partner with somebody that you know that has that experience, that has the qualifications, and y'all team up together and go after that contract so you can bring all of it. Because oftentimes people think, well, I don't want to do that, and then I have to give them 50%, or I have to give them 75%. Well, that is 50. You have part of what you is better than zero. So you're getting part of that, but don't make the mistake of saying I can, and then you can't do it. Partner with somebody and you can do it. And then that'll open up the door for more. So those are 2 big common mistakes. Like I said, moving too fast and giving, saying that you can do something when ultimately you really can't. Bring it to the table, team up with other people that can do that for you.
Mm-hmm. And so people in the comments are agreeing with you. And somebody said you left on a great point, but you came back and you brought it home. So with your experience in both public and private sectors, how do you adapt your HR strategies for different types of organizations, from government entities to startups?
So, everybody's always asking the question, do we niche? Do we just offer services for nonprofit? Do we offer services just government? And we really don't, because HR, honestly, it applies to every organization. If you have people, then you need human resources. Now, some of the laws are a little bit different when you get into government. If it's state and local, they have their own set of laws with that, but there's still federal laws, honestly, that oversee it. And then you have your state and local. So they really apply regardless of what industry that you're in, or if you're in the government sector, if you're private or nonprofit, we still apply those laws and those policies and procedures, because at the end of the day, it's still people, regardless, you're working with people. And so we can apply them to all. Now, we may take a different approach. The methodology and the approach may be different with those different industries and what have you, just based on who your clientele is, what you do, and who you serve. The approach may be different, but at the end of the day, the result will still be the same. And we're able to really consult and give that advice based on that.
So as we can see, you are very knowledgeable in the business world, and you're being recognized for your work, specifically in economic empowerment, a theme that runs through your business, ventures, mentorship, and leadership. So what does economic empowerment mean to you? And how do you intentionally cultivate it through the work you do with Chief of Minds and Biz Chiefs?
So economic empowerment to me means, one, being able to give back, to contribute to our economy, and then empower the people around us to do the same, for them to have that knowledge, that expertise, that freedom, that flexibility in our economy. And let me say this, because I know right now I'm talking about Chief of Minds, we're talking about Biz Chiefs, but economic empowerment is just not about entrepreneurship, because it is about the employees that are working. It's about the managers. It's about the supervisor. It's every level of individual that is in our economy that is giving back. And so empowering us so that way we can still be sustainable, we can still grow as an economy together, and then we can continue to lift each other up within our economy. Because if we fail, if one fails, then we all fail. So how do we continue to keep that wheel moving forward? Because that's what we have to do, is be progressive and move forward with it. With Chief of Minds, we really do that through the business consulting, through the HR consulting, through the strategic planning that we're doing, because that's going to empower our economy to continue to grow. Small businesses are the backbone when it comes here. It is the backbone, and how we continue to move forward. How, regardless of what we're doing, it may be products, it may be services, but it is driving and stimulating our economy. So regardless, even if it's Biz Chiefs is, again, that's more small business and entrepreneurships, but how are they infusing this into the economy? So again, we do that in how we mentor, how we consult, and the results that we give on both levels.
So what advice would you give to women, especially women of color, who are looking to step into leadership or start their own business, but are hesitant to take the first step?
Stop being hesitant. Be bold, be confident. God didn't make you to be hesitant. As a Black woman, especially a Black woman, honestly, we are built for this. There's a lot of roles that we play, and we don't even know, we don't even acknowledge it, because we do it so easily in what we do. But we have to stop downplaying ourselves and being timid behind it. If this is something what you want to do, step out on faith and make that decision that this is what you're going to do. The other day I was talking with someone, and they talked about how they didn't even understand and even realize that they actually were taking a step of starting their own business, because they had been doing it for free at one of the schools, volunteering and making different things. I said, that can actually be a business. You're doing these things. You have a clientele, but didn't have the confidence and wherewithal in herself to actually move out on it. It takes one step to go in and do that. But when you do it, make sure that you go ahead and you do it, and you do it legally, you do it with structure, get your business together, go ahead and make it a legal business and start doing it. Put in the time. It may take time to do it if you have a business, or if you have a job, if you're already working in a job, and that's okay. Go ahead and take time to do it, but get it established and do it the right way. Because so many people, they start doing it, they're not worried about, they look at it as a hobby, but make sure that you put what you need to do and foundationally in place to do it. But you step out on confidence, because we are a lot of women, as Black women, we're doing it, and we're doing it, but we're not doing it to the best of our capability and being bold about it.
Well, the people in the audience are loving what you're saying, and we are excited to see you May 31st. Now, Nicole told us she has an event that day. Now, what's your schedule that day? Do you have something else going on?
No, well, I will definitely be there. I'm excited about it. I've told my team about it, family, colleagues, and everything. So one, thank you all for the honor, because I truly appreciated the person that nominated me. I truly appreciate it. If she's on here, I don't know if she wants to call her out, so I'm not gonna say it. But thank you so much. I appreciate the honor. The only other thing that I have is one of the local banks here is having a women's golf that day, so I'll be there for that. But after that, I will be showing up with bells and whistles. I'll be there.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we are so excited to honor you. I look forward to meeting you in person. And thank you for joining me on the podcast today. And before you go, tell us your websites if somebody's interested in hiring you to get their business in order.
Absolutely. So you can reach us at www.chiefofminds.com. That's CHIEFOFMINDS.com. And then you can also follow us on all of the social media platforms, and our handle is Chief of Minds. So anywhere on whatever social media platform, it is Chief of Minds.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you at the Royal Experience.
Thank you. I'll see you there. Have a good one.
And so, as I was saying before, we are honoring a total of 5 women, and this was just a preview of some of the amazing women that will be honored at the Royal Experience on Saturday, May 31st. Dr. Sandra Brown couldn't make it tonight, so we are going to close the show, but make sure you get your tickets for the Royal Experience. You can go to our website. You can scan the QR code and make sure your face is in the place. And while we're ending the show on economic empowerment, we also want to shout out to our sponsor for our Keeping It 100 Coalition conversation. Beauty is Confidence, and Fierce Beauty by Toy is here to help you own it. Thank you to Fierce Beauty by Toy, the official cosmetic sponsor of Keeping It 100 Coalition conversations. Visit marykay.com/LaToya S. Johnson to shop the latest in skincare and cosmetics. And don't forget to follow her on Instagram at Fierce Beauty by Toy for tips, tutorial, and a dose of daily inspiration. Thank you so much to my guests this evening, Dr. Nicole Thomas and Lakeisha Robichaux, for being my guests on the show this evening, and for all the phenomenal work you're doing in the community. If you want to keep up with what we are doing or buy tickets to the Royal Experience, visit our website at www.ncbwmetrobr.com. And while you're on our website, you can scroll down to the homepage and sign up for our email list to get weekly updates on our upcoming events and initiatives. And also, if you want to support the work the chapter is doing, you can always give us a donation through the website by clicking on the donation tab in the menu. I've been your host this evening, Shanice Lewis, and on behalf of the Metropolitan Baton Rouge chapter and President Courtney Hunt, thank you for tuning in to Keeping It 100 Coalition's Conversations. And until next time, be blessed.